Welcome to my next Big Bang Theory Season 11 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you aren't caught up to the point where I am, and rewatching or watching the Big Bang Theory, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you found that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. This will be the Big Bang Theory Season 11, Episode 6. The title of this episode is called The Proton Regeneration, and this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. We have our normal thing of a takeout meal at Leonard and Penny's place, and Howard is scarfing down his meal since he has surgery in the morning, as he only has 2 minutes before he can eat anything else before he can't eat, because he's getting a vasectomy. Sheldon points out that Professor Proton's children's science show is going to be remade and needs a new host. Amy thinks it would be nice to have a woman to be more woke. Sheldon snaps that they already have Ghostbusters 2016 and Doctor Who. Sheldon describes the best candidate as a scientist that he respects, a pleasant voice, asymmetrical facial expressions, and Bernadette asks if he's talking about himself, and Penny asks that if he is talking about himself. Sheldon adds that as a child, Professor Proton touched him, so it is his mission to touch as many children as possible. That made me laugh. Howard is nervously sitting in the hospital waiting room. One gentleman coming out in pain doesn't help him. Bernadette reminds Howard that it was his idea. He declines to have Bernadette come in with him and tells Raj to sit down as he volunteers. At Sheldon and Amy's, Amy sets up a video camera for Sheldon's audition tape as the next Professor Proton. He demonstrates his very interested in enraged facial expressions. He introduces himself in a monotone voice and then announces that he'll get into character of Professor Proton, who sounds exactly the same. Then he discussed his experiment to determine the mass of an electron that includes common items and some radioactive cobalt wire. Amy stops him and asks why he was doing the experiment that was life-threatening, which enrages Sheldon since he considered it a perfect take. In the Wolowitz's bedroom, Bernadette is helping a very sore Howard into bed for a couple of days of bed rest. Hallie cries over their baby monitor. Bernadette leaves to check on her as Raj is reading that they need to check Howard's surgery for redness, his testicle area for redness and swelling. In pain, Howard just tells Raj to do it. At Leonard and Penny's, they are all viewing Sheldon's audition video as Sheldon describes a complex mathematical process on his whiteboard. Amy had told Sheldon that she loved it, though she thought it was dangerous and 3 to 4 times too long. Penny doesn't know what to say. Leonard told him that at least it looked like he was having fun. Sheldon objects because that was what Leonard would say after one of Penny's terrible takes. Hey! Amy then asked whether they found it borderline psychotic, and Leonard adds that the original Professor Proton did not leave you feeling that you hated science and that he needs to stop showing his stuff to children. Sheldon calls it lying while Penny calls it acting. Sheldon realizes that he needs some help from an experienced actor. Penny is flattered that he would consider her till Sheldon says he meant Will Wheaton. He goes over to Will Wheaton's house and says that he needs an acting coach. Will is happy to help Sheldon until Sheldon asks for Patrick Stewart's number. So he actually wants Patrick Stewart to help him. Bernadette hears a bell and finds that Howard downloaded a Bell app. She takes his phone from him and tells him to come catch her. She is heading out for a doctor's appointment and is taking the baby. He hopes she is not doing it and then asks her to throw a couple of steaks on the grill. Bernadette stares at him and he then asks for kung pao chicken. Leonard, Amy, and Penny are coming up the stairs with Amy mentioning they have casted the new Professor Proton. Was Sheldon cast? Amy says not exactly. As she hears from the apartment, Sheldon shout, "Wheaton!" Everyone heads back down the stairs. Howard comes out of the bathroom and finds Bernadette in bed. The doctor thought she was pushing herself too far and recommended bed rest for her, too. Sheldon is dreaming and meets Professor Proton in his Jedi robes on another planet. Arthur asks whether Sheldon understands that what rest in peace means. Sheldon explains that they are recasting Professor Proton, which doesn't bother Arthur since he tells Sheldon that he is a figment of his imagination. Sheldon wants to protect the professor's legacy, which Arthur reminds him that he finished his series at 5:30 a.m. on Sunday morning, between being beaten in the ratings by Davy and Goliath. Arthur may not care. However, Sheldon will make Will Wheaton rue the day that they ever met. Arthur figures that is true of everyone. Penny checks in on the Wolowitzes. Hallie cries, so she offers to check on her since Raj had to go to work and was tired of Howard's Indian servant jokes. Penny offers to help out with her, though they are reluctant since they don't think she is a baby person. Penny gets annoyed with them that she can watch their daughter since she took care of baby pigs back in Nebraska right up until the time that they were to be slaughtered. And then in the Caltech cafeteria, Raj and Leonard are discussing Howard's surgery. Sheldon is upset with all the great comments that Will Wheaton is getting about being the new Professor Proton. Sheldon asks them to make some disparaging comments on the subject. Leonard feels that it is an important thing to get kids interested in science. Sheldon doesn't want to be unfaithful to his friend and mentor, Arthur Jeffries. Leonard just can't argue with him because he is crazy. Back in the bedroom, Howard and Bernadette are appreciating the quiet time in bed before they have two screaming young kids in the house. Too quiet, they inquire to Penny, who said that all is fine while joking about giving Hallie a couple drops of bourbon on her pacifier for her sleep. Penny doesn't share bourbon, she said. She's just kidding. Sheldon approaches Will Wheaton's house and asks him to give up the Professor Proton role, especially since he is not a scientist. And Will Wheaton replies that he wasn't on the starship. He wasn't a scientist on the starship either, and he kept pretending that he was, and he got himself a swimming pool because of that. Also, Will reports that Arthur Jeffries would probably be happy to know that his show outlived him. Also, he promised to make the show great and to inspire future kids to go into science. Sheldon is not persuaded and tells him that he is back on his enemies list and that they are no longer friends. Will denies that it feels any different. Penny is mixing up a bottle as Amy arrives. Penny wants to know if she is spying on her for Bernadette. Nope. Everyone else was worried. They don't think that Penny is irresponsible, just fun-loving. Up in the bedroom, the parents are getting hungry themselves. Howard reads the book, Numerical Approximation Methods, and Bernadette rings the bell app, and Penny comes in. She complains about Amy stopping by. Howard says that even though she was a terrible waitress, they asked her to get a snack. The baby cries, so Penny leaves. Over the monitor, Penny can be heard complaining to Hallie about her parents. Then Hallie says her first words and calls Penny Mama. Back in Sheldon's dreams, he tells Arthur that he failed him since Will Wheaton, a non-scientist, is going to portray Professor Proton. Arthur wonders why they couldn't visit a deli. Sheldon adds that Will is permanently on his enemy list, and Arthur wants to know if anyone can sign up for that list. And that's what ends this episode of Big Bang Theory. So I was actually having trouble staying awake for this episode. The episode's, 20 minutes long? I fell asleep for like 5 to 10 minutes at a time, 3 times. Now, I did watch this really late last night, or early this morning, but I was kind of bored of it. You'd think it would be funny, but it was okay. I'm going to score the episode a 7 out of 10. And my character of the episode is going to be Sheldon. And then, as many of you know, I rate Penny because Penny is one of the reasons why I started watching The Big Bang Theory and one of the reasons why I continued watching The Big Bang Theory. For Penny, she gets a 7.5 out of 10 for this episode. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of The Big Bang Theory and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please don't forget to Hulk smash the like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode of The Big Bang Theory. What would you rate the episode, and whom, if you had to choose, would be your character of the episode? I mean, a lot of times it's either Sheldon or Penny. Leonard doesn't get it as often as he should. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDEV TV.